Greetings everyone, thank you for joining me today. Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a very interesting topic. I think it's one of the most important topics I've spoken about on my channel. It's entitled Heru is Your Hero, the True Resurrection. Now, if you're new to my channel, I use 4 sources to describe every facet of life, above and below. The 7 natural laws, the 7 cosmic laws, the Paut, Neteru, and the 12 disciplines of mind. I will link in the description if you need more information on my 4 sources. In this video, I will be focusing mainly on the Paut Neteru. I like the Paut Neteru because it gives you a mental graphic, a spiritual graphic of the consciousness, the levels of consciousness that we are composed of, from the highest to the lowest, law of polarity. Common society is littered with correspondences to spiritual enlightenment. The hero model is the theme of many movies. You've seen them over and over. The hero comes and saves the day. It's a prodigal son model. And I use the Paut Neteru because the Paut Neteru is a great representation of the consciousness that is the hero inside of you. And that hero is Heru, the origin of hero. Heru represents the will. It's the centralizing principle. It takes into consideration the other Neteru, the other consciousness, and this, like I mentioned before, Paut Neteru is a visual representation of the consciousness that we are comprised of. All right, they're Neteru. Some have criticized the ancient Egyptians for worshiping many gods, and this would be an example. These are not gods, these are consciousnesses that represents us, the God. The lower world is the Geb world. The higher world, at the top, you see the Amen level, the Paut Neteru. We create nothing. The infinite means just that. Everything, anything that could be created is already in existence in the infinite. Where's the infinite? Inside us, the consciousness that is us. Amen is undifferentiated energy, matter. The will, the Heru, is the filter that decides what we want to experience in this Geb world, this physical existence that we live in. So in this video, I'm going to explore what does it really mean for your Heru to be your hero? What does it take? What do you need to do? What do you need to think about? What do you need to focus on? If you look at the Paut Neteru surrounding Heru, you see 4 consciousnesses, 4 energies represented by Ma'at, Herokuti, Sebek, and Neteru. At the center of these 4 is Heru. Heru is directly influenced by Ma'at, Herokuti, which is the celestial government, as you see here. If you look up celestial government, the Google AI generated definition comes back as the word celestial originates from the Latin word. Whenever you see Latin, think Phoenicians, ancient Phoenicians. Celestis, meaning heavenly or pertaining to the sky. Okay, so the celestial government is the government that governs you above. It's the above, it's the law of the above. If you go back to Ma'at and Herokuti, you see Ma'at is the law governing the independence and the interrelationships of nature. These are the laws of nature, universe. Herokuti is divine justice. He's the executor of the law. Ma'at and Herokuti represent the celestial government. This is your government. This is your true government. Heru needs to be trained in the laws of the above, the consciousness of Ma'at and Herokuti. Being the centralizing principle in the Paut Neteru, Heru is to take instruction based on the laws of the above in order to live the life that is righteous. What's righteous? It means according to law. If you look at particularly the United States government and many governments around the world, this model is represented. Ma'at represents the legislative branch of government. Herokuti represents the Department of Justice, where Heru is the executive branch. She's the president or prime minister, taking instruction from his advisors, his consultants, based on the law. This model has been replaced with a juristic model that these people have nothing to do with this origin. They're copying, modifying something that's already been in existence, replacing your celestial government with this juristic government. Celestial government, you have laws of the land, laws of the universe. Where Heru represents more holistic thinking, Sebek represents your personal identity and your beliefs. If you're out of balance mentally, you lean to one side or another. To be out of balance, any sphere is not desired. What Heru does is keep you in line with the whole. Sebek does the work of keeping you and your belief about yourself planted in your sense of identity. Identity can be rooted in the self or it can be rooted in the whole, or some balance of the two, which is definitely more desired. Let's talk about jurisdiction. The Latin, Phoenician origin of the word juris means the administration of justice. Dictio, dic, means to show. Jurisdiction, when you establish your jurisdiction, you have the choice, your hero has the choice of planting your jurisdiction in the above, or in the world of men and women, physical things, in the world of the blue. Herokuti, being the administrator of justice, means that you will pay positively or negatively for your actions. If you place your jurisdiction in man's law, that's your choice, but you suffer the consequences of that. If you place your jurisdiction in the above, you enjoy the repercussions that are provided thereof. But the Heru is your freedom to choose. Your Heru can be a hero, and provide a life to you that's truly beneficial. And a life that you're in full control of, as opposed to being tossed about in the winds of man's world. Let's talk about misplaced jurisdiction. The consequences of rooting your hero in Geb are thus. From this basic example, you'll be able to tell where you may be placing your jurisdiction, your hero. If you read religious texts and take it as a history book or a lesson as literal descriptions of history, you've placed your hero in Geb. If you look at the current sciences and technologies as the end-all, be-all, most modern that has ever occurred at any time in our history, you've misplaced your jurisdiction. We are not living in the most advanced age, spiritually or physically, mentally. If you look at the source of your income, your money, and your well-being in other people and government, you've misplaced your hero. Now, when you look at hero, there's certain words that are used to define hero's role. The first three words are circumspect, concentration, and consequences. Circumspect is to see from the center looking out. That's hero's role. He's centered, right in the center, looking out at the laws above and the actions below. The word concentrate literally means to collect at the center. What is being collected? The celestial government, along with the workers, the celestial workers, as well as the powers of the other Neteru. To collect or to concentrate is to consider the energies and the balance that's necessary for us to live a balanced life and a truly free life, in control of our actions and emotions. Consequences. To collect the sequences. C-O-N means with, or to collect. Consequences. Collect the sequences. Bring together the sequences. What sequences? The sequences which follows where you place your hero. Where is his jurisdiction? Depending on your thought, the actions that follow will be a representation of where you've concentrated your thoughts, your focus, your spiritual energy. If we look at the word consider, to my amazement, the literal meaning of the word consider is to think with the stars. Okay, think together with the stars. Now, we know the word consider in modern usage means to think about something carefully. The etymological meaning of the word consider literally means to consider the stars. What? Consider the stars. That's the true meaning of the word. What it means is your thinking should be based on the celestial government. Generally speaking, you can even say your thinking should be based upon the laws of the universe, the laws of the above, the celestial spheres, the higher aspects of self. That's what the word truly means. We've lost that meaning. Among many other words that we've lost the true meanings of, depending on what your language is, you will find many words, including English, have spiritual meaning. And just because the people in certain regions speak that language does not mean that they're the originators of that language. The origin of these languages are in people who are enlightened. And this is evidence. This is one word that provides evidence of such. Your hero can be placed in Geb, the world below. Wouldn't be ideal, but you have that choice. Placing your hero in Geb means you're limiting yourself to physical experiences, effects that you know about. You and your thoughts are reactive to what's happening in the physical world only. If you back your goals in the world of Geb based on what you see and what you know, that requires a very strong emotional fortitude to back it up. But the minute that emotion fades, so does that goal. It requires a strong motivational force to support it, and the floating mind generally means a floating will. You can place your Heru in Sebek. When I say place, I mean imbalance, because you always are using some or all of these Neteru at one time, but there's imbalances that are happening. So placing your Heru in Sebek means generally a person who's self-centered and opinionated. Placing your Heru in Heru means you think about the needs of others before you think about the needs of yourself, tending to extreme altruism. Likewise, placing your Heru in the world of the above disconnects you from the physical world, and you have an inability to focus in the physical world, relate to other people, or to truly apply your divine thought into the physical world, manifesting. In extreme cases, this is evident in certain mental illnesses such as schizophrenia, which can lead to withdrawal from social interactions and the difficulty extinguishing between the real and the false. But what is the real? But Heru back at the center means balance. That's true balance. That's the source of your true balance, and that should be our goal, to seek true balance in this physical world. Perfectly centered in Heru means you take advantage of the power of the above. The power of the below is limited to the physical beings that exist in that world, which is limited. Placing your will in the above gives you a germ of vitality and power that's unmatched. You have infinite resources and powers at your disposal. Placing your will at the center position, not at the above, but at the center, his normal position, her normal position, means you take advantage of all the powers above and below to fully have control over your life. What are the signs that your hero is misplaced? Feeling stressed, feeling powerless, feeling that your goals are out of reach, or you've been diagnosed with a disease or mental illness. Why does that mean your hero is misplaced? Okay, let's direct your attention back to the natural laws of the universe. One of the natural laws is cause and effect. Cause and effect says that for every effect there is a cause, and that for every cause there is an effect. Disease is the result of a thought. And likewise, stress is the product of a thought. If you never had the thought, you wouldn't have the stress. Trying to determine which thought in a combination of thoughts that have been accumulating over the years, how do you determine what thought or what combination of thoughts produce that disease or that stressful condition? And stress itself is often a cause of disease. How do you determine what thought produced this thing? In some cases, it's not so much a blind spot. You can detect it. In other cases, it's almost impossible. In either case, it's better to just maintain the focus on maintaining the position of your hero. Now that sounds very vague. The effect, feeling overwhelmed, is stress. Feeling that you have no ability to control your world is stress. You have cause, you have effect. The only way you can control what happens in Geb is by bringing in the powers of above, the celestial government, as well as your celestial workers. There's nothing supporting you in Geb other than other people. All right? So we network with people for our well-being. We're not operating within our true powers that is represented by the Paut Neteru. If your goals seem out of reach, it's the same thing. You feel powerless. You don't feel like you have the power to achieve the goal. There's nothing backing you. You can place your will, your Heru, in his center position and cruise without the stress and have the powers of the universe behind you. So take home message. Your hero is inside you. Your hero is not an external figure with superpowers that's coming to save you. You have the superpowers when you connect to the above. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've gotten something out of this talk. Stay tuned. And until next time, peace and love.